Good morning. We will for this case we will be talking about the leg Calvé-Perthes disease. A 7-year-old boy was brought to the hospital due to complaints of pain in the groin area, sometimes radiating to his thighs and knees. The mother explained that at the age of approximately 6-year-old, she started to notice that her child is limping during ambulation. The mother was not alarmed because she thought that he got injured simply by playing outside. Upon further examination, the child was diagnosed to have leg Calvé-Perthes disease.
So for the first question, discuss the mechanism of the disease. The Legg-Calvé disease was discovered by doctors Arthur Legg, Jacques Calvé, and George Perthes 100 years ago. The Legg-Calvé disease is idiopathic osteonecrosis of the femoral head in children. It is caused by the lack of blood supplied to the femoral epiphysis. The cause of Perthes disease is not known. Some recent studies indicate that there may be genetic link to the development of Perthes, but more research needs to be conducted. Regardless of the initial cause, the end result is loss of blood supply to the proximal femoral epiphysis, which is the growth plate of the femoral head. Then, the lack of blood flows leads to ischemia, then osteonecrosis, and then eventually remodeling.
LCPD occurs most frequently in boys between the ages of 4 and 8 years because bone repair is relatively rapid in children. The prognosis is significantly better compared with adults with avascular necrosis. Signs and symptoms of LCPD in a child include limping, pain or stiffness in the hip, groin, thigh or knee, muscle spasms, and restriction in hip motion, especially hip abduction. The child might complain of groin or thigh pain.
There are four stages of LCPD: the initial stage, fragmentation stage, reossification stage, and lastly the healed stage. So for the initial stage, the blood supply in the femoral head is absent and the bone cells die. Portions of the bone turn into dead tissue. The area becomes inflamed and irritated and may begin to show signs of the disease such as limping or different way of walking. This may last for several months up to 1 year. In this case, since the mother reported that she has noticed limping during ambulation when the boy was 6 years old, the boy is now experiencing stage 2 of LCPD. The fragmentation stage happens over a period of 1 to 2 years. The body removes the dead bone beneath the articular cartilage and quickly replaces it with an initial, softer bone or the woven bone. It is during this phase that the bone is in weaker state and the head of femur is more likely to collapse into a flatter position.
In the reossification stage, the bone of the ball starts to develop or harden, and the femoral head begins to remodel into a round shape again. This is the longest stage of the disease, and this can last for 1 year to 3 years. Lastly, the healing stage is where the bone regrowth happens, and the shape of the bone continues to develop until the child stops growing. Healing can occur in children with revascularization of the femoral head and remodeling of the bone. The prognosis is better in younger children and those with mother involvement. In children under the age of 6 years, observation and use of an abduction brace to maintain the femoral head in a spherical state is reasonable. Osteotomy is sometimes performed in older children.
For the next question, what are the different structures affected by the patient's condition? The leg calv disease develops due to damage to the growing portion of the upper end of the thigh bone, the epiphysis. The upper portion of the thigh bone is known as the head or the ball and connects to the hip in a depression or socket. This is the hip joint, which is a ball and socket joint. This damage results from interruption of the blood supply, the ischemia, to this region.
The femoral head is supplied with blood from the medial circumflex femoral and lateral circumflex femoral arteries, which are branches of the profunda femoris artery. The medial femoral circumflex artery is the primary source of blood supply to the femoral head. A traumatic injury of this vessel may lead to a vascular necrosis of the femoral head. Additionally, this artery supplies the adductors of the hip, obturator externus muscle, hamstrings muscles, and sciatic nerve. On the other hand, the lateral femoral circumflex artery extends anteriorly and gives off an ascending branch, which also joins the arterial ring at the base of the femoral neck. The main function of this artery is to supply blood to the hip joint, knee joint, parts of the femur, quadriceps femoris, tensor fasciae laterale, as well as skin of the anterolateral aspect of the thigh. There is also a small contribution from a small artery in the ligamentum teres to the top of the femoral head, which is a branch of the posterior division of the obturator artery.
This damages the bone-forming cells, the osteoblasts, and resident bone cells, the osteocytes, and results in degeneration, also known as necrosis, and softening of the bone in this area. The upper end of the thigh bone becomes fragile as bone mass is lost. It is possible that this fragile area may fracture internally, causing deformity. A thin line of decreased density, the Caffey sign, may be apparent on epiphysis, which may represent such as fracture within the bone. Damaged bone may fragment and cause irregularities when blood flow to the affected area eventually resumes. As the bone regrows and rehardens, it may deform, resulting in permanent malformation of the upper thigh bone. For example, an abnormally flattened or unusually enlarged epiphysis.
Next question. What are the different risk factors that could predispose the patient in developing the condition? Leg cavity Perthes disease can happen to any children of any age, but it most commonly begins between 4 to 10 years of age, and the peak incidence is between 5 to 7 years old. Also, it is 4 times common to happen in boys than in girls. Race is also one of the risk factors as it is found out that Caucasian children are more likely to develop the disease than East Asian and African American children. Studies also show that children who acquired the same disease are more likely to get it. As a matter of fact, between 2 and 10% of children with leg calviparous disease have at least one family member with the disease. Exposure to secondhand smoke may also increase the risk of acquiring the disease, but exact reasons why are not yet known. The disease can affect only one leg or unilateral. However, in approximately 10% of cases, the disease can subsequently develop in the other leg or bilateral.
And for the last question, what are the possible complications of this condition? So the possible complications of leg calvertis disease are first, the head of the femur may lose its normal spherical shape and may collapse. Second, degenerative joint diseases can occur like osteoarthritis at an early age and higher risk of developing hip arthritis in adulthood, particularly if the hip joint heals in an abnormal shape. If the hip bones don't fit together after healing, the joint can wear out early. Third, the affected leg may lose some of its motion and may become shorter than the normal leg. And lastly, children diagnosed after the age of 6 are more likely to develop hip problems in their late life. In most patients, pain resolves during the teenage years. However, it is estimated that approximately 50% of patients who develop the LCPD disease as a child will need a hip replacement by later adulthood. So, the younger the child is at the time of diagnosis, the better the chances for the hip joint to heal in a normal round shape. The more severe the case, the greater the likelihood that the child may experience limited hip motion, differences in leg lengths, and early arthritis requiring a hip replacement later in life. And that's it for this case. Thank you for listening.